Audio Jungle.
Thank you so much for the Christmas celebration season, an opportunity for us to come together to worship God, to give thanks for His grace, and to look back at the many blessings that God has bestowed upon us. As an institution and as members of Christian Union, it has taken the hand of God for us to get this far. I am well aware that I have like 15 minutes only, which we will maximize them. We will maximize those few minutes. For those who are new, my name is MCCUON. The other one is HOSEA. So it depends with who you are. You can use any of the above, but Kiprono is with the rights reserved. I always say that one is with the rights reserved. Because unless you know me so well, in African tradition, especially our Kalenjin tradition, when you want to divorce your wife, you call her by her second name and he calls you by your second name. So when you hear me calling my wife by her second name and she calls me by my second name, Kiprono, no, we have divorced. That's why it's a very careful name to use, a very careful one. So my wife and children send greetings. They are out in 400 kilometers away from Nairobi. So I'm alone in the house. I had a sister of mine who came. At least made a bit of noise in the house, which was okay. But life is still equally tricky for me. I wake up and look for where is the socks again. I find one is missing. You look around, you make a call, and the person you are calling is in the village, and it is Muteja. So if by any chance you see me wearing two different socks, don't worry. Don't you worry. And you try looking for sugar, you get sugar, you look for tea leaves, and now that's another story. But at least I was rescued. The other day I called and I was told, you see that container written salt? That one is not salt, that one is tea leaves. Now you know the owner of the house is not there. When you get to that level, now you know. And as you have sung a beautiful melody, did you know? You know some things just happen, and then later on it dawns on you that this thing was just another story altogether. So after my 15 minutes, I will sit and enjoy beautiful worship. But then from tomorrow onwards, I hit the road to go and look for my guys down there. So how are you doing? Working very hard? How is the exam? They are still set in English.
Yes.
Exam is still in English. I know when they become very difficult, you read, and then you say, and what language is this? It's still in English. Allow me to read just a small passage, just a small verse in the book of Isaiah, chapter 9. This is a good memory verse that the Sunday school can really beautifully memorize quickly. Chapter 9 of the book of Isaiah. And these are the words of prophet Isaiah. Chapter 9 and verse 6, a common one that you know. And this is what it says. For to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Isaiah. This one is called Messianic Isaiah. Isaiah had prophesied of the coming of the Messiah more than 700 before Jesus Christ came to be. And when did he prophesy? Prophets came when people were going through tough times. God raised prophets. When people are going through turbulent moments in life, God raised prophets. And these people, the Israelites, were going very tough times. Let me take you through a brief history about what was happening at this time. When you read between the end of the Old Testament and the beginning of the New Testament, there is a period that is called the intertestamental period, a period of 400 silent years. We call it in the biblical scholasticism the silent years. But silent not because God was not active in history. It was silent because the voice of prophecy was silent, and the books that were written at that time were not considered authoritative and canonical books by all the universal Christian church. And now what happened at this period, the things that happened during this period are recorded in two books. One is a contentious book that the Protestant protest against. It's called First Maccabees, but it's taken as authoritative by the Catholics. And the second book is the book of Daniel. And what these two books say about this period was, it was a difficult time. Say difficult time.
Difficult time.
Difficult time by everyone. Very difficult time. Because oppressive regimes came and were overthrown by other regimes, and it was tough time. Let me give you a quick preview of what was happening. The first group of oppressive regime was called the Persian era of 397 to 336 BC. When the Persians came, they introduced the mark they left in the world. They introduced something called foreign policy that is still governing the world to this day. It was a tough time. Remember that time, you would not oppose a government in place. You oppose the government when you have your extra head in your paper bag, so that when this one is removed, you quickly replace with your extra one. So you wouldn't dare. When the Persians went, the Greek era came in 336 to 323 BC. And this was a period that was led by Alexander the Great. The Bible, not the Bible, history records that Alexander came like lightning. He was a quick man. 326 BC, others say 323, 333, others say 336. But during that period, he ruled for like 9 or 11 years. And after that, what Alexander the Great did and the Greek period is that they introduced Hellenization. Hellenization is the use of the Greek language as the official language. When Alexander the Great, during the Greek period came, he said Greek is going to be the language for business and education system. And so he changed two things. He changed education curriculum to use Greek as the official language, and he used Greek for business. So that if you want to do business, you had to learn Greek. If you want to go to school, you had to learn Greek. And that is the reason why the Old Testament was written in Hebrew, but the New Testament was written in Greek, because the world had become so Greek at this time. But that led also to the translation of the Old Testament into Greek, which is called Septuagint, because the world had become so Greek. For bigger leadership, you needed to communicate using Greek. Then came the period of the Egyptians, and this was a period of 323 to 198 BC. And in this period, this is when the Septuagint was authorized. The Greek translation of the Old Testament was authorized during this time. Then came the Syrian period with a man that was called Antiochus Epiphanes. Antiochus Epiphanes is one man who came and pronounced himself and said, "I am God." And he was struck dead by God in the podium. As he was speaking in the podium, he was struck dead, and worms started coming out of his stomach. There are things you should not try, eat at home, at school, or anywhere. Then came the Maccabean period of 165 BC. I'm not going into the details because I have very few minutes, and I know I will manage those minutes. The Maccabean period was a period of 165 BC to 63 BC. And this was the time when the biblical worship in the temple was restored. In fact, this period, the biblical worship in the temple was restored. It was a celebration that was called the Feast of Hanukkah. It is still being celebrated to this day, the Feast of Hanukkah. In fact, even Jesus himself in John chapter 10, verse 22 onwards, celebrated this feast. It was introduced during the Maccabean period. Then came the Roman period of 63 BC to 4 BC. And remember, 4 BC is the time when Jesus was born in the incarnation story. And in this period, Rome was the one calling the shots. And Rome is a people, a leadership that had no stomach for justice, and mercy was in the dustbin. This was a tough time for the people of Israel. This was the time of King Herod the Great. That is why the Gospel of Luke records that at this time, who was in charge? At this time, who was in charge? The Greek, the Romans. The Romans were in charge, and whatever order they gave, you had to abide to the last letter, to the last full stop, you had to obey. So when they say, everyone go for census, in the Gospel of Luke chapter 2, everyone, including a 9-month-old pregnant lady called Mary, had to go. Because the person who is in charge has no space for mercy and justice is in the dustbin. They will not allow that. So Rome was in charge. And what Rome did is that they developed road system. They developed great road system because they were taking materials from the countries they had captured and taking to develop their own nation. And that is where we got the famous phrase, all roads lead to Rome. Rome developed road system so much that whatever raw material you get, wherever you get on planet Earth, so long as it hits the road, it is sure that it will get to Rome. They developed road system. And they say their system of road was 6 layers. You know, it would last 100 years plus without a pothole. If I don't know our Chinese roads that last 3.5 years for the next election to come. So what did Rome bring to the table at this time? 3 things, or 4. Number 1, they brought the law and order. And so people for a short time experienced a moment of peace. You will read in biblical scholasticism, it's called Pax Romanus. Peace came to the world for a short time. But this peace was different because it was the peace of the sword. You don't obey the rule, you are chopped off your head. So there was peace. And this is the different peace that the one Jesus came and brought in the Gospel of John, chapter 14, verse 27. He says, my peace I give you, peace be with you, my peace I give you, not as the world gives. And as he says, not as the world gives, everybody goes back to Romanus, Pax Romanus. They know what that means. The peace of the world is different from the peace that Christ gives. The peace of the world the peace that the world gives is called the peace of the cemeteries. That's why when people die, you write in their tombstone, rest in peace, because that's the only peace that the world can give. And Jesus comes and gives a new peace. A peace that will last here and a peace that will take you to the world that is to come. That even in turbulent times of life, you still have peace within you. You read that exam paper and you wonder, these teachers are crazy. Now they sit in their own vocabulary, in their own mother tongue, and it is still English. You still have peace. You still come and comfort yourself and you say, I am a child of God. Loved by the Lord, even if the world rejects me. The Romans brought peace to the world. They also brought to the table a stable government. A stable government in that they were fully in charge. Remember, from 163 BC to 63 BC, quite 100 years. Peace, stable government. They developed, and people would develop. And that is why, at that time, people who were actually at peace were many of them were slaves. Because at that time it is said that 5 out of 7 people in the Roman government, 5 out of 7 were slaves. So slavery was quite rampant, and what the slaves want? Peace. Just let us be at peace. Stop selling us again to the next customer. We want to be at peace and develop ourselves. They brought stable government. They also brought establishment of slavery. And they brought roads. They created good roads. Now in the next 5 minutes that are remaining, why celebrate Christmas then? Why celebrate Christmas? The words of Isaiah bring to our attention very critical things that we can reflect upon this Christmas season. Prophet Isaiah, full of the Holy Spirit, said, "For to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace." What is the Christmas message that we celebrate? It is the message of hope. Against the background that we have looked at, that the world was going through very tough, turbulent moments, Christmas message comes that a child is born, a message of hope. God still shines a message of hope in darkness. That even if everything has gone down the drain, God is still ruling, He is still at the throne. Nothing has gone down the drain. God is still in charge. God comes in and brings hope to the people who are hopeless. To help people out of this oppressive regime, Christ is born. And remember, as people are singing Hosanna, because Christ has been born, many were thinking that He will come and rescue us from the oppressive regime. But sorry, He was not coming for that purpose. He was coming to establish hope in a hopeless world. Why do we need Christmas message today? We need Christmas message because the message of Christmas is a message of hope. It's a message of hope. Without hope, everything is lost. Without hope, everything is lost. For everyone in the world, when hope dies, you are dead. You are dead. You are a living dead when hope is gone. Because hope is the only thing that helps us navigate turbulent times. We need hope. We need a Christmas message to bring us hope. Hope for what? For students. Hope to carry you through the times of tough examination season. Hope to carry you through broken relationships. When somebody writes you an SMS and tells you, by the way, it is over. The thing that will take you through that time is the Christmas message. The message of hope. That you can navigate through this time because there is hope. Christ has come and has made us a new creation. Hope for broken families. When you go home, only to find that this used to be called home. Mama has run away and Hosea has also run away. The home is remaining empty. You look to the right and you look to the left and there is nothing. You cling to hope. Christmas message is a message of hope. I was with a cousin sister of mine who visited me, and she told me her story, the story of their family, and they are very, very, they are part of us. And she told me an incident in life when her mother was almost calling it quits. And her mother took her bag in the evening and went. And this lady had gone to the shop. The mama sent the lady to the shop, and then the mama packed her stuff and was quitting. Then this young lady told me, and I don't know how God just impressed on me that don't use the shortcut you are coming from, just go the long route as you are going back home. And as she took the long route, guess whom she finds at 7:30 in the evening? It is Mama and her bag. And she asked Mama, where are you going? And Mama, because he is between a rock and a hard place, says to the girl, ninapeleka nguo yangu kwa fundi. And she says, Mama, saa 1:30 usiku unapeleka nguo kwa fundi. And she screamed. And Mama had to open up to the girl that actually this home has become another story. Let me just quit. Christmas message is a message of hope. People are going through issues, my friends. Look at me. Look at me. People are going through issues. People are going through issues. The only to navigate these issues is the Christmas message of hope. That, by the way, God is still on the throne. In the book of Isaiah, chapter 9, this is a good memory verse that the Sunday school can really beautifully memorize quickly. Chapter 9 of the book of Isaiah. And these are the words of prophet Isaiah. Chapter 9 and verse 6, the common one that you know. And this is what it says. For to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Say Amen. Amen. A beautiful Messianic Isaiah. This one is called Messianic Isaiah. Isaiah had prophesied of the coming of the Messiah more than 700 before Jesus Christ came to be. And why did he prophesy? Prophets came when people were going through tough times. God raised prophets. When people are going through turbulent moments in life, God raised prophets. And these people, the Israelites, were going very tough times. Let me take you through a brief history about what was happening at this time. When you read between the end of the Old Testament and the beginning of the New Testament, there is a period that is called the intertestamental period, a period of 400 silent years. We call it in the biblical scholasticism the silent years. But silent not because God was not active in history. It was silent because the voice of prophecy was silent, and the books that were written at that time were not considered authoritative and canonical books by all the universal Christian church. And now what happened at this period, the things that happened during this period are recorded in two books. One is a contentious book that the Protestant protest against. It's called First Maccabees, but it's taken as authoritative by the Catholics. And the second book is the book of Daniel. And what these two books say about this period was, it was a difficult time. Say difficult time. Difficult time by everyone, very difficult time. Because oppressive regimes came and were overthrown by other regimes, and it was tough time. Let me give you a quick preview of what was happening. The first group of oppressive regime was called the Persian era of 397 to 336 BC. When the Persians came, they introduced the mark they left in the world. They introduced something called foreign policy that is still governing the world to this day. It was a tough time. Remember, at that time, you would not oppose a government in place. You oppose the government when you have your extra head in your paper bag, so that when this one is removed, you quickly replace with your extra one. So you wouldn't dare. When the Persians went, the Greek era came in 336 to 323 BC. And this was a period that was led by Alexander the Great. The Bible, not the Bible, history records that Alexander came like lightning. He was a quick man. 326 BC, others say 323, 333, others say 336. But during that period, he ruled for like 9 or 11 years. And after that, what Alexander the Great did and the Greek period is that they introduced Hellenization. Hellenization is the use of the Greek language as the official language. When Alexander the Great, during the Greek period came, he said Greek is going to be the language for business and education system. And so he changed two things. He changed the education curriculum to use Greek as the official language, and he used Greek for business. Such that if you want to do business, you had to learn Greek. If you had to go to school, you had to learn Greek. And that is the reason why the Old Testament was written in Hebrew, but the New Testament was written in Greek, because the world had become so Greek at this time. But that led also to the translation of the Old Testament into Greek, which is called Septuagint, because the world had become so Greek. For bigger leadership, you needed to communicate using Greek. Then came the period of the Egyptians, and this was a period of 323 to 198 BC. And in this period, this is when the Septuagint was authorized. The Greek translation of the Old Testament was authorized during this time.
Then came the Syrian period with a man that was called Antiochus Epiphanes. Antiochus Epiphanes is one man who came and pronounced himself and said, I am God. And he was struck dead by God in the podium. As he was speaking in the podium, he was struck dead and worms started coming out of his stomach. There are things you should not try it at home, at school, or anywhere. Then came the Maccabean period of 165 BC. I'm not going into the details because I have very few minutes. And I know I will manage those minutes. The Maccabean period was a period of 165 BC to 63 BC. And this was the time when the biblical worship in the temple was restored. In fact, this period, the biblical worship in the temple was restored. It was a celebration that was called the Feast of Hanukkah. It is still being celebrated to this day, the Feast of Hanukkah. In fact, even Jesus himself in John chapter 10, verse 22 onwards, celebrated this feast. It was introduced during the Maccabean period. Then came the Roman period of 63 BC to 4 BC. And remember, 4 BC is the time when Jesus was born in the incarnation story. And in this period, Rome was the one calling the shots. And Rome is a people, a leadership that had no stomach for justice, and mercy was in the dustbin. This was a tough time for the people of Israel. This was the time of King Herod the Great. That is why the Gospel of Luke records that at this time, who was in charge? At this time, who was in charge? The Greek, the Romans. The Romans were in charge, and whatever order they gave, you had to abide to the last letter, to the last full stop, you had to obey. So when they say, everyone go for census, in the Gospel of Luke chapter 2, everyone, including a 9-month-old pregnant lady called Mary, had to go. Because the person who is in charge has no space for mercy and justice is in the dustbin. They would not allow that. So Rome was in charge. And what Rome did is that they developed road system. They developed great road system because they were taking materials from the countries they had captured and taking to develop their own nation. And that is where we got the famous phrase, all roads lead to Rome. Rome developed road system so much that whatever raw material you get, wherever you get on planet Earth, so long as it hits the road, it is sure that it will get to Rome. They developed road system. And they say their system of road was 6 layers. You know, it would last 100 years plus without a pothole. If I don't know our Chinese roads that last 3.5 years for the next election to come. So what did Rome bring to the table at this time? 3 things or 4. Number 1, they brought the law and order. And so people for a short time experience a moment of peace. You will read in biblical scholasticism, it's called Pax Romanus. Peace came to the world for a short time. But this peace was different because it was the peace of the sword. You don't obey the rule, you are chopped off your head. So there was peace. And this is the different peace that the one Jesus came and brought in the Gospel of John, chapter 14, verse 27. He says, my peace I give you, peace be with you, my peace I give you, not as the world gives. And as he says, not as the world gives, everybody goes back to Romanus, Pax Romanus. They know what that means. The peace of the world is different from the peace that Christ gives. The peace of the world the peace that the world gives is called the peace of the cemeteries. That's why when people die, you write in their tombstone, rest in peace, because that's the only peace that the world can give. And Jesus comes and gives a new peace. A peace that will last here and a peace that will take you to the world that is to come. That even in turbulent times of life, you still have peace within you. You read that exam paper and you wonder, these teachers are crazy. Now they sit in their own vocabulary, in their own mother tongue, and it is still English. You still have peace. You still come and comfort yourself and you say, I am a child of God. Loved by the Lord, even if the world rejects me. The Romans brought peace to the world. They also brought to the table a stable government. A stable government in that they were fully in charge. Remember, from 163 BC to 63 BC, quite 100 years, peace, stable government, they developed, and people would develop. And that is why at that time, people who were actually at peace were many of them were slaves. Because at that time it is said that 5 out of 7 people in the Roman government, 5 out of 7 were slaves. So slavery was quite rampant, and slaves, what do the slaves want? Peace. Just let us be at peace. Stop selling us again to the next customer. We want to be at peace and develop ourselves. They brought stable government. They also brought establishment of slavery, and they brought roads. They created good roads. Now in the next 5 minutes that are remaining, why celebrate Christmas then? Why celebrate Christmas? The words of Isaiah bring to our attention very critical things that we can reflect upon this Christmas season. Prophet Isaiah, full of the Holy Spirit, said, "For to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace." What is the Christmas message that we celebrate? It is the message of hope. Against the background that we have looked at, that the world was going through very tough, turbulent moments, Christmas message comes that a child is born, a message of hope. God still shines a message of hope in darkness, that even if everything has gone down the drain, God is still ruling, He is still at the throne. Nothing has gone down the drain. God is still in charge. God comes in and brings hope to the people who are hopeless. To help people out of this oppressive regime, Christ is born. And remember, as people are singing Hosanna, because Christ has been born, many were thinking that He will come and rescue us from the oppressive regime. But sorry, He was not coming for that purpose. He was coming to establish hope in a hopeless world. Why do we need Christmas message today? We need Christmas message because the message of Christmas is a message of hope. It's a message of hope. Without hope, everything is lost. Without hope, everything is lost. For everyone in the world, when hope dies, you are dead. You are dead. You are a living dead when hope is gone. Because hope is the only thing that helps us navigate turbulent times. We need hope. We need a Christmas message to bring us hope. Hope for what? For students. Hope to carry you through the times of tough examination season. Hope to carry you through broken relationships. When somebody writes you an SMS and tells you, by the way, it is over. The thing that will take you through that time is the Christmas message. The Lord is come. The message of hope. That you can navigate through this time because there is hope. Christ has come and has made us a new creation. Hope for broken families. When you go home, only to find that this used to be called home. Mama has run away and Jose has also run away. The home is remaining empty. You look to the right and you look to the left and there is nothing. You cling to hope. Christmas message is a message of hope. I was with a cousin sister of mine who visited me, and she told me her story, the story of their family, and they are very, they are part of us. And she told me an incident in life when her mother was almost calling it quits. And her mother took her bag in the evening and went. And this lady had gone to the shop. The mama sent the lady to the shop, and then the mama packed her stuff and was quitting. Then this young lady told me, and I don't know how God just impressed on me that don't use the shortcut you are coming from, just go the long route as you are going back home. And as she took the long route, guess whom she finds at 7:30 in the evening? It is Mama and her bag. And she asks Mama, where are you going? And Mama, because she is between a rock and a hard place, says to the girl, ninapeleka nguo yangu kwa fundi. And she says, Mama, saa 1:30 usiku napeleka nguo kwa fundi. And she screamed. And Mama had to open up to the girl that actually this home has become another story. Let me just quit. Christmas message is a message of hope. People are going through issues, my friends. Look at me, look at me. People are going through issues. People are going through issues. The only thing that can help you navigate these issues is the Christmas message of hope. That, by the way, God is still on the throne. He still reigns. He is still there to take care of us. Prophet Isaiah, going through very tough times with the Israelites, he was with them going through these tough times. He says, and to us a child is born, a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders. Remember, what he's saying is not something that has happened. He's just seeing a ray of hope ahead. And that hope lies 700 years to come. What will propel him for the next 700 years, which he will not see himself, but others will see? The message of hope. So when you are at the point of throwing in the towel, my friends, my sister, my brother, my friends, when you are at that critical time, cling to hope. Say, I don't know what lies ahead, but God has promised that He will be with me. He will never leave me nor forsake me. He will always be there. How will He be there with me? I don't know. I don't know. But He will be there with me. Praise God. Say amen even you are. Say amen. Amen. Thank you. Christmas message is a message of hope. Number 2, Christmas message is a message of peace. It's a message of peace. Let me test this water. Christmas message is a message of peace. Remember what the Romans had established at that time. What had they established? Pax Romanus. That don't worry, we have peace in the world. They had established peace. But was that peace lasting? It was the peace of the sword. It was the peace of the sword. Remember what the Romans did. Romans gave a strict order, and the order was simple. You say Rome is right. Whatever policies they pass, you say Rome is right, and you will have your head in its place. Every moment you oppose Rome, if you are a Roman citizen, there were 2 rules. If you are a Roman citizen, you will be executed by chopping off your head. But if you are not a Roman citizen, you will be crucified. Because that was the rule. There were 2 rules. If you are a Roman citizen, you will die a quick death. Your head is chopped off. But not before going around the streets and singing that Rome is right, I was wrong. And then after that, your head will be chopped off. But if you are not a Roman citizen, you will be whipped, you will be stripped naked, the cross will be tied on your back, and you will go around the streets as a Roman soldier is whipping you at intervals. And as you go, you are also directed. As you get to a point, you stand and you shout. And you say, Rome was right, I was wrong. So that people who are listening to you in their homes will tell their children and their children's children, don't play with the government. And you are whipped and taken and be crucified. Christmas message comes as a message of peace. And what peace does Christ give? Different from the peace that the world gives. Different from Pax Romanus. The peace of the soul. The peace that carries us through tough times. That when everything is gone, we can still be at peace within ourselves. I've told you a story of my own experience at one time in life when I was sick and I was alone and teaching before I retired, teaching at the course. And I had a problem in my stomach that I thought God was going to use that as a channel to take me home. I went to the hospital, I went to see several doctors until I was told, stop eating sifted maize.
Jesus Christ was born on Christmas Day. Mary's born child, Jesus Christ was born on Christmas Day. And now we'll reign forevermore because of Christmas Day.
Oh, hey Mary. Hi my love. How have you been? I've been great. And how about you? I've been so fine. So, about the wedding? Just leave it to the Lord and everything will be well, okay? Okay, it will insist. See you later.
Don't be afraid. I'm an angel of the Lord. I've come to tell you that you love a son and you name him Jesus.
How can this be? For I have known no man.
The power of the Lord will come upon you and you shall conceive it.
I am the servant of the Lord. Let it be as he says. I think yourself should know this. Joseph, hi Joseph.
Oh, hey Mary, you're back again.
Yes.
What is that?
No.
I don't even know anything. Get out of here. That's she's already pregnant. Let me just go to sleep and I think about this more.
Joseph, take Mary as your wife for she is bearing the Son of God.
Was that an angel telling me to take Mary as my wife? I should go to him. Mary, it is true. You are bearing the Son of God. Let us go. My wife has to give back. Is there enough room? There is no room. No room. No room. Come in. My wife has to give back. Is there enough room? No, sir. I can only afford for your bench. America, are you coming? Long live Jesus.
Jesus, the friend of sinners, He came to die for us, asking the soul proclaim, thank you, Lord, for dying for us. Hallelujah to the King. Hallelujah.
Sound, simchafuanishe hii sauti yenye inafaa, ndio hiyo.
Do not question the will of God. With all due respect, man of God, you must follow protocols.
Do not be afraid, Zechariah. Your prayer has been heard. Your wife Elizabeth will bear you a son, and you call him John. He will be joy and delight to you, and many will rejoice because of his birth. For he will be filled with the Spirit of God. He is not to take wine or any other fermented drink, and he will go on before the Lord in the spirit of Elijah, to turn the hearts of the disobedient to the wisdom of the righteous, to make ready a people prepared for the coming of the Lord. How can I be sure of this? I'm an old man, as wife is obeyed. I am Gabriel, and I stand in the presence of the Most High. And since you didn't believe my words to come to at the proper time, you will be silent and not able to talk until the time that this happens.
He has taken too long. Someone should get him and see what is going on.
No, I think we should pull him out.
Yes, we should put him out.
He's alive!
Because we've been waiting here for so long. You think the priest of the Lord cannot come? No. I'm not taking this anymore. I'm not.
Huh?
Me neither. I'm taking your money.
Sorry, my husband. Let's go.
His kingdom will never end.
But how can this be? Sins have known no one.
The power of the Holy Spirit will come over you, and the Most High shall overshadow you. So for this reason, the Holy One to be born shall be called the Son of the Most High. Even my own relative Elizabeth is going to have a child in her old age. And she who was said to be barren is now in her 6th month. For no word that comes from the Lord will ever fail.
I am the servant of the Lord. Let his will be done.
Wewe umwaminifu zaidi ya yote, hakuna jambo